I want to synthesize some of the information that we've covered up until now. This entire month is about neuroplasticity. Today's episode has covered a lot, but by no means has it covered all of the potential for neuroplasticity and protocols for plasticity. We will get into all of it. But today I want to make sure that these key elements that form the backbone of neuroplasticity are really embedded in people's minds. First of all, plasticity occurs throughout the lifespan. Early, from birth until 25, mere exposure to a sensory event can create plasticity. That could be a good thing or a bad thing. We're going to talk about unlearning the bad stuff, traumas, etc., in a subsequent episode this month. If you want to learn as an adult, you have to be alert. It might seem so obvious, but I think a lot of people don't think about when in their 24-hour cycle they're most alert. There are 4 episodes devoted to that 24-hour cycle and the cycles of alertness and sleep. I encourage you to listen to those if you haven't had the opportunity to yet. Or just ask yourself, when during the day do you typically tend to be most alert? That will afford you an advantage in learning specific things during that period of time. So don't give up that period of time for things that are meaningless, useless, or not aligned with your goals. That would be a terrible time to get into passive observance or just letting your time get soaked away by something. That is a valuable asset. That epinephrine released from your brainstem is going to occur more readily at particular phases of your 24-hour cycle than others, during the waking phase, of course. You should know when those are. And then you could start to think about the behavioral practices, maybe the pharmacologic practices like caffeine, hydration, etc., that will support heightened levels of alertness. Attention is something that can be learned, and attention is critical for creating that condition where whatever it is that you are engaging in will modify your brain in a way that you won't have to spend so much attention on it going forward. That's the essence of plasticity, that things will eventually become reflexive. The language that you're learning, the motor movement, the cognitive skill, the ability to suppress an emotional response or to engage in emotional response, depending on what your goals are and what's appropriate for you. Increasing acetylcholine can be accomplished pharmacologically through nicotine. However, there are certain dangers for many people to do that, as well as a cost, financial cost. Learning how to engage the cholinergic system through the use of the visual system, practicing how long can you maintain focus with blinks as you need them, but how long can you maintain visual focus on a target just on a piece of paper set a few feet away in the room or at the level of your computer screen? These are actually things that people do in communities where high levels of visual focus are necessary. Now, the other way to get high levels of visual focus and alertness is to have a panic or to have a situation that's very, very bad. You will be immediately focused on everything related to that situation. But that's unfortunate. What we're really talking about here is trying to harness the mechanisms of attention and get better at paying attention. You may want to do that with your auditory system, not with your visual system, either because you're low vision or no vision, or because you're trying to learn something that relates more to sounds than to what you see. But for most people, they're trying to learn information, cognitive information, or they're trying to learn how to hear the nuance in their partner's explanations of their emotionally challenging events, etc. And just remember, by the way, what I said earlier, which is that if you really want somebody to listen to you and really hear what you're saying and what's underlying it, you should not and cannot expect them to look directly at you while you do that. That's actually going to limit their ability to focus.